So we are starting chapter 10 today. And I know there was this idea that the trig was going to be gone in the second semester. We still have to get through chapter 10 and then trig is kind of out of the way. So we're revisiting trig identities again. And I know that's not exciting for many of you. You want to think of these more as trig formulas than identities, the way we're going to use them. But they still are trig identities. So what you're looking at on the board right now is this is kind of like a test, right? So what it's saying is cosine of some angle alpha plus some angle beta. And it's asking the question, is it equal to the cosine of that angle alpha plus the cosine of that angle beta? So I arbitrarily selected two angle measures, one for alpha, one for beta, and I'm just going to use my calculator and check, is this a true statement or not, right? So here I selected 20 degrees for alpha and 30 degrees for beta, and I'm going to plug them into the left side. So cosine of alpha plus beta is going to give me 50. I'm going to plug them into the right side, and I'm going to have cosine of 20 plus cosine of 30, right? So this is just a calculator check, and when I evaluate these, I get 0.6428 on the left. Cosine of 20 is 0.9396 approximately, and then cosine 30 is 0.8660 approximately. You can clearly see when you add the values on the right, you're going to have a value larger than 1, which is not equal to the value on the left. So basically what this is saying is that this statement above is not true, right? And you know, if you were in class and we had time to do this, I would run through an example of cosine of alpha minus beta. I would also run through an example of sine alpha plus sine beta and sine alpha minus sine beta. And for all of them, you would learn that this is not true at all whatsoever. And the point of this is two things. One, it's just to remind you that when you're trying to test an assumption you may have as you're working through a question, that you can usually, check that you're correct or prove that you're incorrect simply by, using basic examples in your calculator to check your thought, your hypothesis for the most part. And in these four cases, it's not true. Now, the other reason we're doing this is for some students who kind of struggle not with the trig, but more with the algebraic number sense, analytical work, that the sine and cosine are functions, and the angles inside the function are locked kind of in a group. So the sine of alpha minus beta, it does not work over what we call the distributive property. And what I mean by that is occasionally there's misconceptions with students where they think that they can do this. Sine of alpha minus beta is going to be the sine of alpha and then minus the sine of beta. That's not true. It doesn't work. Please, don't get yourself caught in that mess, because it can be kind of disastrous. And again, this is just a statement saying that the sine and cosine functions do not function over the distributive property for addition and subtraction if there's an addition or subtraction inside the sine or cosine function. That's kind of that, pretty basic.